Yo, what is going on, my fellow weebs? Corona here, and welcome back to the channel. I swear I can't look away from the Monster Hunter community for even a couple of days without them finding some crazy thing that's broken and probably not working the way it's supposed to. So my good friend River shot me a video, and yeah, so apparently there's some new dual blades tech. It looks like Nico went and spoke about it in a video. They linked the video, Yuki's video. It's a Japanese speedrunner who looks like they've discovered some pretty insane tech. This is a twofold thing. Now, I'm sure their videos of this are going to jump out on the internet almost immediately, because when it comes to content, it's a race for everyone to get things done first. But perfectly honest, I've just been behind. So in case you guys may not have seen this on your end, or in case you want some, some people like to get multiple sources whenever they're looking at things like this to make sure that it's actually tested properly, whether or not something is good or not. I will say I have personally tested this. I have sent it to friends who have tested and looked at it, and on the low end, this tech is better than every other option we have by not like a massive margin, but by a pretty decent margin. And on the high end, it's outright broken. So what exactly is happening? What are you talking about? Can you just show the clip so we understand what's going on? Sure. So as you can see, this player is looping the double slash with the beginning of the demon dance in Arc Demon mode. And you're seeing a lot of damage numbers pop up here. That's kind of a twofold thing. First off, the first reason you're seeing this is there's what people are referring to as a hidden property of the corruption mantle. I don't think this is a hidden property of the corruption mantle. I think it's just a bug, to be perfectly honest, because the corruption mantle is already insanely powerful as it is. With this on top of it, it just why any other mantle exists is beyond me, to be perfectly honest. If this is intended, we don't know if it's intended or not. We haven't had the first title update. We haven't had the first major changes. And this is the first people are talking about it very, very, very openly. We've known this for a little while, but just so you understand, any attack that is a single input attack essentially has the corruption mantle proc twice. The attack procs twice. So as you can see here, every time he's doing a spinning double slash, you're seeing 4 numbers added on here instead of the 2 that are supposed to be added on from the spinning double slash. And then he goes into the first part of the demon dance, which now, since it's been changed to split itself up and you're able to dance in and out of demon mode to use it, it's now considered a single button input. So you're able to basically loop these 2 back and forth over and over again infinitely. It basically procs the corruption mantle over and over and over again for its insane extra hit that, again, I don't think is intentional. But if it is, hey, you know what? By all means, cool. If it is, I think it's horribly overtuned and probably needs to be brought back. But because it's not like it's even difficult to maintain. People are always like, oh, well, you know, it hurts you or it deals damage to you. Yeah, if you just don't attack the monster, it's not hard to I mean, that and just heal forehead. Or if you're having issues with the virus. Funny enough, I realize a lot of people don't know this. Pop a nullberry. You can pop a nullberry to push the virus back in case you're having a really bad start to the hunt. You don't have to just succumb to the virus immediately. But anyway, as you can see, he's just looping this over and over and over again. And there's a few things you probably notice here. First off, he has an extra bit of stamina. Well, why is that? Well, it's because this set is running maximum might on dual blades. It's because our strongest combo right now takes 0 stamina to execute. You're fully in Arc Demon mode. There's a couple of things that are important here to realize. It's not even just the damage that's insane. What I need you to understand is that it's also almost 0 commitment for this combo, meaning that at any point in time during this attack, you can cash out the damage and set yourself up till, I think he's actually finished the hunt here. Yeah, he's finished the hunt here. But you can see it here where he's very, very non-committed in a lot of his attacks. He can just basically stop at any point in time and just dodge out of the way whenever he needs to. And as you can see, it's not like he's eating up that much stamina. Granted, you know, whenever he is eating up a bunch of stamina, it's just to rebuild his Arc Demon mode. And then afterwards, he's going right back in and just absolutely crushing the monster. This is what matters most, when there's a down or when you're just, slamming damage, fighting like a Jindahad or fighting Red Dow or getting the knockdowns on Gore or Arc Veiled. You can slam out a lot of damage. This is where the damage matters, and it is absolutely ridiculous. So we're going to talk about what his set is using, what I personally would change from this set, because keep in mind, this is a speedrunner, so they're only in the hunt for a minute and a half. So they're looking at things that are going to be the most beneficial for them in that minute and a half time frame. So things that I would change and how I would go about this and how I would deco things out and so on and so forth. All right, so looking at equipment, this is the set that he's using. So using 2-piece Fulgur Anjanath, 2-piece Gore, and of course the Arc Veiled chest, because this Arc Veiled, honestly, I think this Arc Veiled chest might not be worth. I think I might swap out this chest piece for something else. If I can find something else that has a good decoration use case, I may look into maybe going with a different piece. Even like this evade window is more useful, but I wanted to get this video out as soon as I could based on what we're looking at. So keep in mind, you may swap out the arc field. It's important is you want to make sure you have enough space, either whether or not you get this from another piece of gear or you're able to deco this in. You do want these specific decoration slots as well as being able to get these skills. So you want to at the very least make sure you can get in burst and coalescence in this slot to make up for not using this chest piece, because to be perfectly honest, while it is somewhat efficient to have that point of weakness exploit, it's not like you don't absolutely need it, right? Like you're not going weakness exploit 5 that gives you 30% and 20% on wounds. You get weakness exploit 1, which is 5%, 3, it's 8% on wounds. It's not the end of the world, right? You're gonna get a crap ton of affinity without even bothering with weakness exploit, to be perfectly honest. Yo, post edit chrono here. Actually not sure where Cry's gonna fit this into the video, but I did a bit of digging around to see if I could figure out any way I could get a bit more efficiency out of the chest piece. Now, it's kind of up to you how you decide to go about things. It's going to depend highly on the amount of rolls you have on your weapons for your Ardian weapons. If you happen to have a few more affinity rolls, or maybe you made your weapons out of affinity and you really don't need that extra point from weakness exploit, which I'll be honest, no one really does. It's not really that important. It's 5% on weak spots, 8% on wounds, which is not huge by any means. It is okay. It does kind of round out your amount of affinity you're getting. It's not going over cap by any means, so it is still useful, but it isn't that much to really consider. If you wanted to get a bit more efficiency out of it and something that feels like it means a bit more to you, the Doper chest A is actually pretty solid. It provides you the same slots that the other chest piece provides you as well, while giving you 1 point of Constitution and 1 point of Marathon Runner. Okay, now I'm sure my editor is going to kill me. I'm not sure how this is going to include along with it, but I sent the build over to the Michael Jordan of Monster Hunter himself, my good friend Shepard, fellow content creator, retired now, but still makes Monster Hunter videos. Fantastic dude. You should definitely check him out. Check out the channel. It'll be linked below. By the way, he made a good point. A few things here. First off, when it comes to element, a lot of monsters don't take a lot of great element. We don't have a lot of great elemental setups, so element's not scaled very, very well right now. So going 5 points of burst doesn't really feel like it's absolutely worth. Granted, it feels pretty good on dual blades, but I think you might get a little bit more mileage out of pushing the higher agitator. So per his recommendation, we actually swapped up, went with the Blango coil and the Gore chest. Gave us 2 points of free evade window, which is relevant. It's still very useful, but it does give us the slots we need to kind of, figure things out more or less. Of course, we still have the Fulgur head and gloves, and then the Blango tacit for the extra points of agitator. We've then decoed in our challenger here. Apparently 1 point of burst is actually pretty optimal. So we do have the 1 point of burst here. So we've got that taken care of. Of course, we decoed in the rest of our maximum might. We have our sane decos in to finish off our antivirus. And in this situation, we went with a Phoenix charm. You don't really have to go this route. I mean, again, this is stacking more element, and element's not the absolute best. Unless you're fighting Gravios or Odo, other monsters don't take a ton of elements. You may not want to scale that hard into your element, but I can't go with like a critical boost deco or something like that. So, and there's no attack or critical boost talisman that I know of at the very least that I've been able to find. So kind of the next best thing we have, but you can always go with like other utility options. We have 3 extra slots here, so you can put in, things like Constitution. You can put a Marathon Runner if you want to. Probably thinking, why do those even matter? Well, Constitution is going to keep you from using too much stamina if you dodge, and dodging is going to use up your stamina. If you dodge too much, you're going to fall out of your maximum might window. Without it, I think you can dodge like 3 times, maybe 2, but with it, you'll be able to dodge probably like 3 to 4 times and still stay within that maximum might window. And it takes a while for maximum might to re-proc after you're back up at full stamina. So it's one of those situations where if you don't fall out of it, it's usually for the best. Something like Marathon Runner just may give you enough time to get your full combo in, to get your focus built up all the way and get back into Archdemon mode without falling out of max might, which is the same thing we just talked about. You cannot fall on max might. Usually it takes a little while for you to get back to max might again. So, it's definitely beneficial for you to go that route in that situation. But it's up to you how you want to go about it. This is just a little bit more freedom. You can always put stuff like recovery decos in here, like recovery up. You can do things like item prolonger if you really want to. Try to think of something else that would be beneficial in this situation. And some people like speed eating. Makes it easier for them to deal with specific situations. So anyway, what is it that we're using? How does this work? What do we have set up here? So we're using an Ardian weapon, and this works with all of the Ardian weapons that we currently use as dual blades. Like, this is going to come out the same day my set video is going to come out, but you can use this with the exact same weapons, the exact same deco setup. On his end, he has a frost into a critical element decoration. I think I mentioned this during that video as well. I'm gonna mention it here just in case you only watch this one. Critical element is not bugged. It is just really, 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 really weak right now. It's weaker than it's been in the past. And this is not unheard of. When it comes to element, usually early on, you don't run a whole lot of element. You just take the element you can get along with it. But a lot of skills tend to value raw damage more, meaning you can scale your raw higher easier. So basically all you're doing is just taking the element that you get and then working on scaling up your raw as much as possible. So in that vein, what you want to do is, since you can't get combination jewels for critical jewel or mastery jewels, you just take the critical jewel and mastery jewel because the crit boost is definitely worth it. Technically, you don't have to go mastery jewel here. You can go with razor sharp, or you can go with handicraft. Either one of those works perfectly fine. But since you are going high crit rate, it is synergistic with the idea of what you're trying to go for. In case you're like, oh, I don't like the percentage chance. Well, I mean, you're probably also not going to like razor sharp since it's only 50%, as opposed to the 80% mastery is. You can see here, 80% chance versus 10% or 50% at level 3. There's some of the situations where you kind of just work with what you've got. I personally like Master's Touch. It probably is just something that stems from World, but teaches their own. It is what it is. A long way to say that you don't want to give up critical element for anything else on this list of decos. So just taking it as an extra slot here is totally fine. But if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. You can also opt with a bit more utility. If, let's say, for example, you are finding that you drop into blue sharpness a lot more than usual, getting that extra razor sharp might help you out. Maybe going with some handicraft in case you didn't roll, you didn't get super lucky on like your weapons like I have, and you didn't roll 2 points of sharpness boost. To be perfectly honest, I have a bunch of element. I'd rather have attack than element, but you know what? We'll take what we get. But anyway, so as it stands right now, you don't want to give up critical element anywhere. And anyone who tells you that it's bugged, it's not. It works. It's really small, man. And it'll get better as we get more skills that actually scale up element properly. For right now, that's kind of what we're working with here. All right, bunch of yapping. I know yapping's a disease of mine. I'm sorry, I can't help it. As far as the decoration slots go, you want to go with the chain talisman, and then you're going to need 3 chain decos. That does seem like it's a lot. To be honest, just meld decorations. There's so many decorations they give you nowadays. Farm monsters, meld decorations. You can farm decos super easily. It's not really that big of a deal. You're not like farming, 900 hours for an attack decoration, never getting it. Like, you will get the decorations you need. Do not worry about it. So you need 3 chain decos. You want 2 sane decos. These are going to max out your antivirus. You want, of course, the 2 mighty jewels to finish off your maximum might. That max might is going to give you that extra affinity, which is going to be really nice with 30% affinity, as long as you have what they call full stamina for a period of time, but you're going to find out that that's not going to matter nearly as much. And then we're going to take, this is where we have our deviation from his set. In this slot, they actually run ambush. Now, ambush gives you 50% attack damage after successful sneak attack for what seems like almost 30 seconds or so. Now, granted, I didn't count that exactly. I just took a look at his hunt, saw where, the buff ended on his buff bar. So I would test it personally on your own. If it lasts longer, even better. If it doesn't last as long, then, that's going to be a bit of a problem. But this is a situation where this is like a speedrun choice, not like an everyday set choice. So I personally went with Coalescence just for more element, being more damage whenever I cleanse the Frenzy virus. So solid choice. You can go with that here. If you opt to say, oh, I don't really care, I rather go with more utility here. This is a great place to deco in like Stamina Surge. You can use level 1 decos and just deco in Marathon Runner again. This would remove the amount of stamina that you're using when you're demon mode, when you have to be in demon mode. But the thing is like, you're not in demon mode very often, and you're only in demon mode to get your arc demon mode back. So it's one of the situations where it's not really that big of a deal. That's it. That's pretty much the entire set overall. Of course, you want to have the Corrupted Mantle because it has that really, really, really weird interaction. But in the meantime, let's run over here to the training area and I will show you how this set actually works, along with Maximum Might, and how you can do the loop that he's doing, because it's not very difficult to do is what you're going to find. It's insanely easy. All right. So as you can see, here we are. Maximum Might is activated, and you can see my stamina here still going down, still going down. Maximum Might's still active, still going down, even a little bit from here. And then Maximum Might wears off. So you actually have quite a bit of leeway with Maximum Might being active. So I could roll to like repeatedly before I lose Maximum Might. So it's not like even full stamina all the way. It's basically like a little bit below your regular stamina. So what's the whole idea here when you're looking at doing this set? Basically, you want to build your demon mode or your arc demon mode as fast as you can. Which, if you're quick about the skills you're doing, spinning round slash and just the 6-fold strike is actually really, really powerful for building your demon mode. Now, once you're in arc demon mode, you'll see it starts to go down on its own. So you want to make sure you're staying in arc demon mode as long as you possibly can. And here's the loop you're looking at doing. So your loop is going to be double slash demon flurry. And as you get good at it, you will see that you can loop this very quickly. And if I do something silly like put on my corruption mantle, I think I had to activate this thing first. I have not messed with the training dummy at all, so you guys are going to have to forgive me. I guess I can just turn on my skills. Oh yeah, so we have 2 levels of agitator. That's also nice to have. Let's turn on our... Wait, can I just activate this? See how that works. Again, I have not messed with this at all, so you guys are going to have to forgive me. Okay, so the virus is active. So I can cleanse the virus. We're just going to build this up. Let's get the virus cleanse going. I think it's like 50 hits to cleanse the virus. Okay, so you see our virus is cleansed with coalescence activated. We want to go ahead and turn off this. You can see our stamina, we're about to get a chunk of affinity. There you go. Maximite is active. You got a chunk of affinity there. Good chunk of damage. And then all you're looking at doing is just this over and over again. And hey, let's throw on our corrupted mantle, and then you can see we can just get even more damage going. And it's absolutely dumb. And the biggest part of this is that, and I'm not, yeah, as you can see, I'm not the best at spamming this yet. I'm actually better on keyboard and mouse, funny enough. Also, I ran out of demon mode. Spinning around slash. And the funniest thing about this is very low committal. So if you have to dodge out for any reason, you can very easily. And just loop it over and over again. Just Y into YB. Or if you're on a PlayStation controller, it is simply triangle into triangle circle over and over again. And that's it. That's the entire thing. You'll notice you do pretty stupid amounts of damage. And it's like not even funny. Also, I guess this is worth mentioning. I don't know if I mentioned this in my guide previously, but taking off and putting on your mantle, just holding on the button to bring up your item wheel, and then pressing on the Xbox controller, it is right trigger. On the PlayStation controller, should be R2. Holding those 2 buttons, or holding that button down, then pressing that one, will take off and put on your mantle. And why is this important? Well, if you get your buff. Okay, well, I'm bad at getting my buff. Hold that thought. Anytime now. Okay, well, that's embarrassing. It's we're just gonna keep doing this until we get it. All right, hold it. Okay, because I had it set to not be able to guard, and I guess that also affects dodging through things. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad, whatever it happens to be. Anyway, so as you can see, we have our blue state here, our buff that we have going. If we put our weapons away, we lose that. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. And we can toss on and take off our mantle from this mode, which is great. So yeah, make sure you do that. Don't throw away your damage just because of that. So yeah, all these things stacked on top of each other. It's pretty dumb how powerful that can be. Also, we have coalescence that procced, but it's because we didn't clear the frenzy virus that built up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that helps out. If there's anything I missed, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Like if you enjoyed, so if you want to keep up with more, as always, thanks to channel members. You guys are fantastic and I appreciate every single one of you. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, my friends. Peace out.